you've got your tongue in your cheek and you're talking about Lost in the Waves and him going forward is I think it was Bucharest where we saw him really dominate the attacking side of FIFA. He was scoring 8, 9 goals every single tie. He just seems to have nailed scoring goals in this game.
However, on the flip side of that, there won't be many times when you hear a Lost in the Waves game where he'll win 4 or 5-0. No. It will usually be 5-4 or 5-3 or 7-8 or something ridiculous like that. He kind of backs himself to outscore the amount of goals that he will concede. And on the other side, as I say, we want to talk about this man a little bit. We saw him at the FIFA Club World Cup a little bit, and we saw, you know, what he could do playing alongside TAS, and he really did come out of his shell and kind of show us what he can do, reminded everyone in the scene what he can do. There's a lot of Dutch players who have, you know, had some good performances so far this year, and LevVinken towards the end of the season is really starting to find his form now as we do kick off this next game. Yeah,
he just needs to be able to actually do what Lost in the Waves gets done and find that attacking situation for himself. He needs to be able to find goals out of nowhere in games where it's very closely contested. He won his first game of the day today 2-1. It was very close against Marv. Then he went on to beat Feldman 7-3. So he was able to pick up his attacking style a little bit better going into round number 2. And now he has a chance to get through Swiss 3-0 if he's to win here.
And speaking of chances, Cristiano Ronaldo is already away down that right-hand side of the defence. But this is where Lost in the Waves is so dangerous. Lost in the Waves, of course, will be playing in the Real Madrid home kit in the white here, for those of you who might just be joining us. Going forward on the counter-attack, plays that 4-3-3 with those 2 wide players who like to stay narrow, get close to that striker. On the counter-attack, it's so deadly. But speaking of deadly, there might be a chance at the start here as you can see LevVinken trying to isolate Marcelo at that back post. Expect to see that a lot more as the tournament rolls on.
Yeah, and Mbappe playing out on the left-hand side as well. I really enjoy playing Mbappe on the left-hand side, especially if you are going to be trying to utilise those back post headers as well. He's so quick at making space, getting behind the defenders, and then you can cross it in if you would like. But then you've also got the option of just dancing your way into the box. That's what Mbappe can do so fantastically. It's funny you said about Lost in the Waves as well and how he only wins. Well, he's going to win 5-4 or 7-6. I mean, his
a little
first
bit
game,
tongue-in-cheek, I must say, yeah.
Well, no, but he won against Chris 9-7, and then he won against Verfilza 5-4. He does
okay, I meant what I said now. No, you've given me the results.
Ability. in certain situations, he does like leave himself a little bit vulnerable at the back.
Well, you can see he's keeping the pressure onto LevVinken here. Almost cut out that cross-field ball. And you can see the way that he plays as well. With that 4-3-3, every single player is staying upfield as well. So the counter-attacking options, once he wins the ball back, are there to go forward and turn defence into attack quickly. However, it means that he won't dominate possession in the midfield quite as much as some of his opponents who are playing with more players in the middle of the park. But this is where he's dangerous. Look for those balls in behind. As I say, tries to turn defence into attack as quick as he possibly can. But LevVinken now, he's going to give the ball away. And look at this 2v2 situation, tries to find that ball in behind. LevVinken's going to have to defend this well. A lot of that's going to come down to his player switching down.
Yeah, and I think he is going to have to be very careful, LevVinken, on that counter-attack. And he just needs to pressure at the right times and make sure he's not caught off guard. Because if he lets it slip just for a moment, that's when Lost in the Waves is going to pounce on him. He's going to take real advantage of any sort of scenario like that.
Trying to find that ball in behind here. Almost finds the feet of Neymar. And another thing that LevVinken's going to have to be aware of is getting his finger on that Y button very quickly, or that triangle button, bringing out the goalkeeper to cut out these through balls, because that's how Lost in the Waves gets forward. That's how he gets in behind your defence.
And sometimes your players can do that for you. If you've got them set to cut passing lanes, for example, in your tactics screen, players like Vieira, like Hullet, they are fantastic at just stretching their long legs out and getting in the way of certain balls, but you can put them in positions to make them more likely to actually intercept them by switching to that one player, moving him a little bit across to the left, and then switching to the next player that you're going to pressure with. And you can almost manipulate where they're going to be defending.
Well, that's a big tackle coming in from LevVinken there. You saw Lost in the Waves had so many options going forward. If he could have timed that pass, he might well have been in behind, but now it's CR7 who's in behind for LevVinken. Criqueta, great play this. Mbappe tries the extra fake shot around the corner. But of all the players on the pitch to make the defensive interception, it was actually Mbappe for Lost in the Waves, who now comes forward with CR7. Little turn inside, does go for the shot, but I mean, that was tame. I think we'll put it down to that.
Yeah, just a slight mistiming. We saw the red triangle above the head, and I remember back in Bucharest, it was those timed finesse shots that Lost in the Waves was absolutely nailing. The meta has changed since then. The finesse shots from outside the box aren't as powerful. However, timed low-driven shots are very strong as well nowadays.
Well, here's Marcelo then in an advanced position. The fullback getting forward to join the attack here. Couple of body feints just to try and buy a bit of space. Mbappe now into Hullet. Vieira always waiting at the bottom of that little triangle. Great ball around the corner. Oh, it's beautiful from LevVinken. It was like a switch was flipped there. Defense into attack. Found that penetrative pass into the box. Little lifted ball and a fantastic finish there from Neymar. LevVinken takes the lead.
Again, it's just those quick passing moves. It's passing it as soon as you see the ball going towards your player and just hoping that that final ball is going to be able to make it through and break it through the defense that is so often put up. However, because LostInTheWavesz does play this 4-3-3, he isn't bringing as many players back as we might see some with the 4-2-3-1, so he is going to be vulnerable to attacks like that from LevVinken. So this might play into the hands of Lev, because he does like to play that quick passing move.
Oh, and there's a great ball down the line. It's Ramos who's trying to bite back at Mbappe here. A little fake shot around the corner from Mbappe. Stops up. Maldini and Varane, they combine here, and now this is the danger. For all of the attacking play that you can have against LostInTheWavesz, you have to be so aware once you give possession away of that counter-attack. Mbappe looking to find Hullet. Hullet will get there, but the attentions of Maldini will win the ball back, and LostInTheWavesz just sends this one forward into the feet of CR7. And now look at this, just how quickly he goes on the attack. Almost found R9 there. LevVinken, you have to say, he's defending this pretty well so far. Yeah,
he's keeping LostInTheWavesz at bay at the moment. LostInTheWavesz hasn't looked particularly threatening going forward, despite the fact he's had players waiting for that counter-attack. Lev has stepped up very well.
Oh, Ronaldo with a chance to strike it here. Didn't time it green. Big chance there for R9, however. Couldn't quite take it, though.
Look at that possession mark. 64% in favour of LevVinken as well. He's really been dominating.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, though, with the two styles of player that we have here. As we say, LostInTheWavesz, a lot of players you'll see will take their time in the build-up in the attack, and that will kind of put the possession stats, but it's how quickly he transfers to the attack means that he doesn't need a lot of the possession because he gets the ball upfield with 3 or 4 passes.
Yeah, and sometimes if you kind of lure your opponent into a false sense of security, thinking they're dominating the game with possession, you might be more likely to catch them on a counter-attack as well. So I don't think he'll be too disheartened with the amount of possession that he's had. He just needs to be careful with that.
There's a huge mistake, and De Gea has to do some work. Does just dive down at the feet of Neymar there, but mistakes, we all know at this level, are what usually cost goals for these kind of players. And luckily for LostInTheWavesz, he gets away with one just towards the end of that half. You can see the stats there at half-time at the end of our first leg. 61% possession to LevVinken. There has been chances at both ends, but it was just that one bit of magical play there down from Lev that gave him the lead.
And you can see that's how he's been trying to approach this game. He's been trying to get that constant pass, where that last pass that's really going to penetrate his opponent, really going to be able to break that defense. And when it works fantastically. He just needs to be able to work different ways of trying to attack and not always go for the same attacking style of football, otherwise it will become predictable. That final pass will be very difficult if his opponent knows that's what he's going for every time.
Well, here's LostInTheWavesz, goes for the hill-to-hill, just looking for the defender to commit to that. Well defended again by LevVinken. That's been the standout thing for me so far, is the way that LevVinken has been aware of the game plan here of LostInTheWavesz and been able to counter that with his defensive style of play. And he gives the ball away here. Look at the run in behind here from Neymar, and again, immediately looking for that ball in behind. Neymar fires it into R9, but just out of the reach of the Brazilian icon. Little mistake there from Lev. He gets away with it, but the referee is going to pull it back for a free kick here, so a little bit of time here for Lev just to breathe and build another attack from the back.
And LevVinken does need to be somewhat careful. I think he'll be aware of how a 1-goal lead is nothing against a player like LostInTheWavesz, that it can change in the snap of the fingers. He can really just generate pressure.
Well, here is that chance, and De Gea has to make a fantastic save up to his right-hand side. There was that chance as a save for R9. Flicked up from the corner, ball into the box. Hullet gets there, but it's straight down the throat of David De Gea. 2 saves in just a matter of moments here from the Spaniard to keep that clean sheet intact here for Lev.
Notice how so many players are trying different ways of flicking that ball up now. They've obviously worked out that crosses that have been flicked up are working better to the back post, but it's about finding new ways to actually get that ball in the air.
Well, there's a couple of 45-degree fake shots there from LevVinken looking to get around the corner, but LostInTheWavesz again. He wins the ball back after trying one of those penetrative passes again. Ronaldo now maybe strikes this one, does strike it, but De Gea comes up big again here for Lev. Putting a lot of faith in his goalkeeper at the moment, and he is doing the job. Neymar then all the way back here to Ramos. Pressure coming in from LostInTheWavesz. Marcelo tries to get a little bit fancy, and that is just going to invite Lev to come in and spoil the party and win the ball back.
And even though that shot looked a little bit lackluster from LostInTheWavesz, that's why he does score a lot of goals. He's not afraid to hit the ball when he gets sight on goal. And if he had timed that green, we might have seen that in the back of the net. Who knows? And I think he does just need to warm up with some of these time shots, and he might find more goals.
Here's Lev then on the attack once more. Neymar, Marcelo joining the attack. Sometimes we comment on his defensive frailties, his height. The one thing he does do is be so effective when he does join the attack. Mbappe now out wide to Ronaldo. Vieira now. Ronaldo's got it back here, heel to heel. He sold him down the river, but De Gea is there to make sure that LostInTheWavesz doesn't drown. LevVinken with a big chance there to double his lead, but just couldn't take it.
And that might frustrate LevVinken. And I do feel like this season has been a bit frustrating for him, because as I mentioned before we started the game, he hasn't got to those kind of positions where he expects himself to get.
Tournament winning positions.
Yeah, he probably sees himself as a tournament winner, realistically, because every player at this tournament should be able to believe that they can win on their right day. And I think that we're just waiting for that tournament from LevVinken where he starts to hit the likes of console finals.
Corner then. For Lev, takes this one short. Marcelo is going to whip this one in, and Hullit's there at the back post. It's almost a combination there of Hullit and Vieira, but Lev gets the ball back here. CR7, lovely little drag back and turn. Criqueta timed the finish as well. Unfortunately for him, there was just one more man in the way who got the block on it. Inside the last half hour then. Neymar and Marcelo combining, but a little bit lazy there from Neymar. Didn't get back on side. And that's going to be the ball given back to LostInTheWavesz.
Always got to be very careful when you play the ball back to the player who did take the corner. 9 times out of 10, they are going to be offside if players are quick to get off the line defending. So he just wasn't careful enough, I feel. Maybe wasn't looking at the players in the box. But still, LevVinken, ultimately, he just needs to keep possession. That's the most important thing.
That's a great ball. And Mbappe's clean through on goal here. Tries to play it across to CR7, who makes no mistake this time. LostInTheWavesz is known for his counter-attacking football, but it was Lev who hit him on the counter-attack there. And he finished it off with aplomb.
A beautiful switch of play as well for him. Just noticing Cristiano Ronaldo in acres of space on the right, and a decent finish to round things up as well. Sometimes you might try and do a little bit too much in those situations. Maybe try and dance around the keeper, hope the keeper's going to come towards you, but you know that Cristiano Ronaldo, if you can drive that low, it's going to beat the keeper very often. And now a 2-0 lead, and for all the talk we had about LostInTheWavesz and how good he is attacking, LevVinken has very much controlled the game. He's defended fantastically, and he's kept LostInTheWavesz at bay. Yeah,
he really has, and it's been a fantastic performance, almost a textbook performance from him. Everything he would have wanted from this game has pretty much gone the way that he would have wanted it to go. Neymar now looking to add a third, and Mbappe's just streaking away in behind here. Can he find a pass or maybe a finish? It's a ball across, and Hullit manages to get in the way just as he was looking for that third.
And that really could have been.
But now look at this, straight up the other end. This is the danger. LostInTheWavesz, he's 2 down. But with one attack here, he can half the deficit. He times it, but Pele puts it wide. And I think that LostInTheWavesz is going to be looking at that 99 rated prime icon moments and thinking, come on, man, I did everything right.
And LevVinken would have felt very hard done by there as well, with just that ball being cleared off the line from Hullit. But we see it so often when you're so close to scoring, and your opponent will just dart down the other end. Because when you are that close to scoring, you almost let it slip a little bit at the back because you expected that ball to go in the back of the net.
Well, here's Neymar, another 45-degree fake shot round the corner. Criqueta, this has to be a goal. It's going to be a goal.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Via David De Gea, but look at the patience and the decision-making from LevVinken there. 3 to the good now. This has been a masterclass.
And a lot of players would have just shot in that situation. There were chances to put the ball in the back of the net, but if you had shot with any of the other players that previously had the ball, there was a chance for the goalkeeper movement to stop that. And I feel like LevVinken really took advantage with the amount of players he had to use going forward there, and just kept passing it, kept confusing the goalkeeper movement, and then put it basically just a tap in on the line. Yeah. De Gea, he did fantastically.
He did well to get anything,
but he couldn't even get there to stop the shot.
That man on your screen, this has been a great first leg from him. However, games are not won in the first leg. As we know, we've still got another leg to come after this one. And with the goal-scoring prowess that we know that LostInTheWavesz has in his locker, excuse me. We've already seen a crazy comeback today from Mo Aubameyang. And it wouldn't be a surprise to see LostInTheWavesz put something else together, but I mean, LevVinken, we can't really talk enough about how good he has been in this first leg, and he looks like he's not done yet. Pele with a chance now, puts it across, but the pass just in the reach of David De Gea. And it almost looked like it was going to be 4, but this could be another chance here for LostInTheWavesz going forward towards the end of the game. Modric into Pele. Here's Hullet now getting forward. Turns past his man, gets a second bite at the cherry, but the defender gets a block on it.
Realistically, LevVinken could have been winning this game 5-6 to the good if he'd been able to maybe find that extra pass, or in some of the scenarios, actually taking a shot. I'd say in that last attack there, if he had just hit that ball, he had a chance of putting it in the back of the net, but his style of play, he wants to get that extra pass. He wants to guarantee himself that goal and try and negate the goalkeeper movement.
Messi then in towards the back post. It's Johan Cruyff! Oh, I thought it was in!
Cruyff.
It couldn't have been closer. Just shaving the upright there on its way out for a goal kick. But chances here for LevVinken have been flowing in this game. And you have to wonder here, are these going to be the kind of chances that kind of bite him if he doesn't take them?
And LostInTheWavesz just needs that one chance, something to give him a little bit of momentum, but it's just not working out for him. LevVinken really stopping any sort of attacking style of LostInTheWavesz, and he's leaving himself vulnerable at the back now because he's throwing everything forward.
Yeah, and he has the chance here to find another one at the end of the game. Croqueta from CR7 into Vieira. Little Cruyff turn around the corner. Pele with a scoop turn. Oh, he gets it up in the air. But De Gea and a combination of Maldini and the goalkeeper keep it at 3 goals. It has been so tight towards the end of that game, but LevVinken, as far as the entire game is concerned, certainly not tight, very much in his favour. As I say, a textbook for performance from him. He couldn't have asked for that first leg to go any better.
He's looked fantastic, to be honest. This doesn't look like... Well, this looks like the LevVinken that we expected to see across the season. The LevVinken that I know that is possible. The LevVinken that he knows is possible. But I'd say the bigger surprise for me is LostInTheWavesz not really performing as well as maybe I would have expected in this tie. And I think by his body language, he doesn't feel like he's expecting how he should. He's just being cancelled out here, Mark. Yeah,
and one thing that we should point out here is the fact that, you know, Lev's got Shells behind him, a fantastic player in his own right, coaching him, giving him some advice in some of these tight situations. And sometimes when you're a bit of a hot-headed player, having a calmer voice behind you can help you.
And sometimes shells do get lost in the waves, so maybe that is part of the trick here.
How long have you had that one up your sleeve?
I mean, 30 seconds when you first said it.
I'll give you credit. You can see the replays here from that first game. There was a little period of pressure here around the hour mark for LostInTheWavesz. David De Gea had to make some good saves here, but one thing you will see from a lot of these shots is the fact that they weren't time green, Dan. It's something that LostInTheWavesz, as you say, back in Bucharest when he was scoring all those crazy goals, was managing to nail those green time finishes a lot of the time, but you can see it here, just all regular shots, and that just makes the goalkeeper's life a little bit more easy.
But he wasn't getting into those goal-scoring opportunities as much as we're used to seeing from Waves. I think LevVinken was pressuring in the right situations. He was very aggressive with his defensive style, and it really worked out for him. And quite often, he was the one who was hitting Waves on the counter-attack, the counter-attack sometimes. Because LevVinken had all the possession, Waves would go for an attack, and then LevVinken would hit him straight back. And it was just the constant passes that were available for him. It was just, he's just using every tool that he has available to him. It's really good to watch.
Yeah, it really was you know, all-round a great performance. Managing to keep a clean sheet against a player who is so impressive going forward in LostInTheWavesz. That's an achievement in itself.
But it could have been more. Definitely could have been more. Cruyff, that time green, probably going in as well. I definitely thought that Lev could have been 5 up, 6 up, potentially. Yeah. So I wonder if that's going to affect his mentality.